Audio Jungle.
I am the Divine Prince, Emmecca, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, Advisor, Elagoon, Oloye, Hoodoo, Obeya, Bokur. I reside in this beautiful and legendary historic Treme, New Orleans, Louisiana. So join me as I share food, music, culture, tradition, the rhythms, and the flavor of New Orleans voodoo. Respect the voodoo.
Greetings, and salutations, honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, powered by NOIVD, New Orleans National Voodoo Day. Voodoo Day is a religion spread over many different countries. The most interesting thing about voodoo is that each country embraces this belief and practice in a unique way, shaping its lifestyle, its history, and its needs. Voodoo might sound like a niche religion, but it's not. All around the world, voodoo is one of the most practiced religions of all time. So where is voodoo actually practiced today? There are 14 million voodoo practitioners in Nigeria, 10% of the population. In Benin, there are around 1 million, 18% of the population. In Togo, half of the population follows traditional African religions, with the most powerful voodoo having 2.5 million followers. Voodoo can be found today and historically in West Africa, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Haiti in Central America, Louisiana in the US, Brazil, Cuba, and Dominican Republic. 1 million voodooists are in Ghana, a country of 23 million inhabitants. And this is only to talk about voodoo, not the other ATR, Aboriginal, traditional, indigenous, African, and American practices that have become integrated now into hoodoo, obia, and practices of the like. On the other hand, surveys in these regions state that those classified as Christians are synchronistic practitioners of both Christianity and African religions, whether it be voodoo or other traditional animist religions. In Haiti, although 80% of the population is considered Catholic and 16% Protestant, around 50% are still considered to practice voodoo. The population is almost 10 million inhabitants. In Puerto Rico, it is less than 1% over a population of 85% Catholic and 8% Protestant, with 4 million inhabitants. In the Dominican Republic, the followers are around 1% or less, over a population that is 87% Catholic and 4% Protestant, in a total of almost 10 million inhabitants. In the state of Louisiana, with 4.5 million inhabitants, it's 28% Catholic and 60% Protestant, with the percentage of voodoo followers between 1 and 3%. In short, we can talk about over 60 million voodoo followers worldwide, voodoo worldwide. And it is why we created and continue to promote and sponsor National New Orleans Voodoo Day, soon to be International New Orleans Voodoo Day. And we continue to invite you to visit us, subscribe, donate, offer to volunteer and participate in our third annual coming International New Orleans Voodoo Day. Please visit our website for coming updates and announcements at www.vodouday.org. Again, that's www.voodooday.org. It is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Third annual New Orleans International Voodoo Day 2026. Visit us at www.vodouday.org. All is truly and indeed a blessing, and we certainly look forward to your participation and the opportunity to come together, join together as community. We will be announcing some important updates about our coming event on tomorrow. So I look forward to you all joining us here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time for more Voodoo Hoodoo 101, Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. And I'm grateful for my consistent participating live audience here in the chat. Thank you so much, Nina Lloyd, for your continued support, one of my faithful godchildren. Daniel, Neil, we certainly appreciate you, a vibrant and active participant in our community. We certainly are thankful for Elder Reggie, known as Green Soap here on the platform, one of our faithful co-hosts and co-founders and co-producers of International New Orleans Voodoo Day. Greetings and salutations, Elder Reggie. Please come on in.
Yes, blessing divine, blessing everyone. I'm here. Yes,
And we also welcome our faithful godchild, first priest, wild man, and participant in our organizing of International New Orleans Voodoo Day, Joshua Nyland Tanner. We welcome you to the platform.
Good day, everyone.
yes.
Hope everyone's doing well, and excited to be here tonight, and I'm excited about the things that we have moving forward, especially with the New Orleans International Voodoo Day. It's going to be next year, coming the third annual event. It's going to be bigger, greater, and amazing.
And our beloved co-host, Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Alapia. Good night, everybody in the listening area. So glad you could join us. How you doing, Prince?
All is indeed a blessing.
On last night, we touched upon maybe Annabelle opened up a portal. And that stayed on my mind, but my spirit kept telling me it wasn't Annabelle that opened up the portal. It was the movie Sinners. So I went back and did some research and investigating.
Okay.
On April the 3rd was the first viewing. Okay, you know how they have the premiere and only certain people can go. That was April the 3rd. On April the 18th, it was released for everybody else to see. Also in April, we just finding out they didn't give a date, but a Confederate museum was destroyed by a big tree in North Carolina at Fort Branch. They said they didn't let the public know about it because they wanted to remove all the artifacts out of it so nobody couldn't come around the property and steal the artifacts, because if you see a picture of it, that tree flattened that building.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
On April the 28th, in Memphis, Tennessee, the Claiborne Temple, which was a landmark of the civil rights era,
Yeah.
caught on fire.
Mm.
It was the starting place
You're
of
right about
the
that.
it was the starting place of the black sanitation strike.
Mm-hmm.
It also was the reason the sanitation strike was the reason why MLK was in Memphis at the time he got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to make his I've been a fool speech, is what I call it, when he was supposed to let everybody know that we had run up into a burning house with the
What did you
civil
call that
rights
speech
movement.
again?
I've been a fool speech. Okay. On May 16th, the Nottaway plantation burnt down to the ground. It started, they put it out, and it started up again with like hellfire. It wasn't just smoking, it was totally inflamed the second time. On May 16th, it also was the first dust storm in Chicago since 1934, which started the Great Depression because of the Great Dust Bowl that covered the area. If you remember in the movie Sinners, Smoke made the comment when Sammy said he heard it was good in Chicago for a black man, and Smoke told him, ain't no difference between Mississippi and Chicago except tall buildings. That's why they came back to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On May 19th, Marie Laveau house, where she lived at, caught on fire.
Also, Malcolm X's birthday.
Yes. Now, on the 19th also, which isn't really being talked about in the local news, I don't think, the Kalorama House in Washington, D.C., Kalorama House, caught on fire twice in 24 hours. They put it out on the 19th. The firemen left except a few, and it came back burning with a vengeance. On Tuesday, this residence backed up into the home of President Obama in D.C.
Mm.
And it also was known as the Little John House. And Little John, the man who lived there, whose name was John Little, he had 17 slaves, one of which was Hortense Prout. She was 20 years old in 1861, and
One
she
second.
is
What was the name of that gentleman's name? His last name?
little.
That's Malcolm X's original name.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh wow.
Hortense Prout was a 20-year-old slave who escaped the Little House in 1861. A massive manhunt went out for her, and they found her with the Union Army, dressed in men's clothing, and he brought her back. They said if you can find her, you can have her. Well, she was dressed like a man and everything, but they found her and drug her back. In 2019, that house, the house that he lived in at the time, was torn down. But in 2019, they erected a plaque for Hortense Prout and the escape she made from there with the help of the Underground Railroad to some extent, because it's listed with the historic Underground Railroad houses or stations or whatever. And that just happened on the 19th and the 20th. And the man name was John Little in 1860 something. And I'm still looking to find out what else then went on that they're not really talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find out what else happened in April, but it might be some stuff they're not talking about, like they wasn't talking about this Confederate Park and museum, the Mound Museum, in North Carolina, and they're not gonna let us know till next month what then happened.
Yeah, just to add to what you're saying, Sister Toni, the tornadoes last week, they've done a lot of destruction, and a lot of that is not coming forward either.
St. Louis looked like a bomb struck it. They got hit again this weekend. 30 people unalive.
Wow.
And FEMA still not on site the last time I checked, which was yesterday. FEMA still ain't set up camp.
Wow. That's yeah. Well, our hearts, I know my hearts go out to them, man, because I'm hoping the community up there is there for them and giving them the resources that they need, shelter, and helping them with whatever that may be happening, which is a lot. So definitely our hearts go out to that community up there.
Yes, hearts and prayers. We used to seeing tornadoes hit rural areas. I don't think I never seen one hit the city that hard before and that long
that direct
a stretch. But it literally looks like a war zone. Wow. Just Google some of the pictures you'll see. Go to images and you'll see. And they also have a lot of live stuff on TikTok that people did. You just have to search St. Louis tornadoes and you can get a lot of stuff in real time that people was filming with their phone. As stuff was blowing off of roofs and houses was falling. I mean, I never seen nothing like it before. But I'm beginning to think some portal somewhere was opened. Because this is just a lot coming back to back to back. And I'm staying vigilant to see what the future bringing. And like I say, you got to dig deep because a lot of stuff they're not saying as soon as it happened. Like this house on 2400 Calorama. And the Navy secretary just bought it. The secretary of the Navy had just bought it and it was under remodel. Just like the Nottaway plantation, they were saying it was under remodel in the area where the fire started.
Yeah. You know the Nottaway plantation is a plantation that moved, right?
What you mean it moved?
It came from a place outside of Louisiana. They're originally Nottaway is the name of an Indian tribe that's from Virginia that traveled there and established that plantation with the family back in the 1800s.
Wow.
most of the tribe traveled with them from Virginia to Louisiana and lived there amongst them. And were the what they were saying now, possibly those were the ones that was actually enslaved, quote unquote, or working the actual plantation.
Well, I know at some point during the Civil War, the owner ran with about 19 slaves. He had 155.
Right.
He went from cotton to sugarcane. And he left with about 19 of them and ran to Mexico somewhere when the Civil War came, left his wife and children at the plantation along with the rest of the slaves. And the house survived the Civil War. It was, I think, used at one point, but they didn't destroy it and burn it down. So he ended up coming back after the Civil War was over. Now, what he found, as far as I'm quite sure, with just a woman in charge, most of them slaves had been jetted. Most of them slaves had been jetted. But, you know, they using it for a wedding destination and to have brunch and stuff. I had a conversation on one of the posts where the people, it was white people, and they was talking about black people was happy that it was destroyed, and do they think that that's going to keep the owner from rebuilding? So I had to chime in, and I say, yeah, I'm one of those black people that's happy it burnt down too.
Yeah.
But I feel if they build it again, nobody gonna care, because it's not that same plantation where our ancestors walked the halls and fed the masses and received beatings in the basement.
They built that place.
Man.
Yeah.
Sister Toni, on some of the social media, I don't know if it was trick or not, but it seemed like you can actually see some human figures as the plantation is burning and the video
flames
is panning around. It really looked like it could be a ghost or something in the building.
Yeah, in the flames.
Yeah.
I saw that too. I saw it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, look at this, man. It's like released, like some entities or something got released once this building was up in flames.
If the people that built that place is from this land, they're using cypress, they're using trees from this land. They're all connected. I mean, I'm sure they spirit. I mean, that like you were saying about the work that was put into that place. If you look at the damage afterwards, and you can still see a foundation on a house after a fire like that.
Yeah.
It was built by some master builders. And
so was this new house called the Calorama House. And like I said, the house behind this house is the house that belongs to President Obama.
Oh, wow. Wow. Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, wow.
That's his DC house.
Mm.
And it didn't catch on fire.
Wow.
And then the second time, when you see the pictures of the fire that started on Tuesday, it's that same flame, that same huge flame that comes back with a vengeance. No, it's not out. Not away plantation. They thought they put it out. No, we ain't out. We're coming back with a vengeance.
Yes.
You know, so we got a lot to keep our ears to the ground and listen and see what's going on.
Yes.
So that's my take on it. That movie, when he removed the veil and the roof was burning and the ancestors in the future was dancing, he did that in a place in either Louisiana or Mississippi with that musical vibration had to be let out in our time. And they said the music pulls back the veil. So maybe in them thinking they was just doing a movie, maybe that music did actually pull back a veil.
Ashe. Yes. Man.
That they haven't become aware of. That's why you say, be careful what you messing with. That's why I don't do Ouija boards or nothing in my house, nothing. No. I'm not going to do certain things that I'm not sure I'm doing, because you never know what chain of events you're going to start.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting though, because in the movie Sinner, the key cinematography is the fire.
Yeah, it is.
Bonfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that fire in Sinners look just like the fire at Nottaway Plantation and at the Colorama house.
Yes.
And that is something that the man who owned that house in 1861, name was John Little, and the house caught fire on John Little birthday, who is Malcolm X.
Wow. I say, man.
Call that a synchronicity, you know.
So everybody keep their ear to the ground, and remember, let me know if you hear anything strange. I will investigate.
Okay.
Yes, man, we appreciate the information.
Look, they should have me investigating where them inmates at that's still loose that got out of the jail.
That's right. Wow.
I might go find them for y'all.
Man. Don't forget about the Marie Laveau house too.
I know.
You know, and that
I seen
begs
pictures.
That also
a
was the
question.
19th.
Are these spirits often attached to, you know, the physical structure? Certainly with the plantation, we know our ancestors physically built that place. But the Marie Laveau house is actually a modern era house built on her former lot. So does that make a difference in terms of poltergeist activity or haunt-like activity?
It
We could
could.
also look at the Lalaurie mansion.
It could, because people keep not letting her rest and calling her to that house. They put all them hair barrettes and scrunches and all that on the front of the new property.
Right.
And they got altars and all of this stuff in the back of the house where the people, where the fire started. They won't let her rest. And she may still have a connection. Well, they say if they actually built it on the same foundation, it just was to be the same house.
Yeah.
And
she
because
lived in
it's
it too.
built on the same foundation.
And there's certainly an energetic footprint that I believe lasts beyond, you know, a physical structure. They've actually built a filming movie studio on my grandmother's property in Kirkwood, Missouri. But that footprint, that energy footprint is still there.
Yes. Yes. And they saying on the rounds of the social media, which you got to take with a grain of salt, that the people who live there, the YT people who live there, that she may not have liked the things that they were doing in the house. So she didn't like them. That's what's making the rounds on social media. That's why she set the house on fire, to get rid of them.
Sister Toni, when you're saying she, you speaking of the energy of Marie Laveau or the homeowners? I'm a little
The energy of Marie Laveau didn't
Mhm.
like the homeowners,
Got
Oh,
and
shit.
she started the fire to get rid of them.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what happened since the archdiocese don't let you go to St. Louis Cemetery #1? People have moved a lot of the activity to that house on St. Anne.
Yes.
That's one location. They've certainly dispersed that energy out to several locations that did not exist prior. The Healing
Right.
Center, some of that energy goes to the statuary that Mambo Salian has up there for Marie Laveau. I have a Marie Laveau shrine. It's charged with a great deal of energy. But back to your original question, in terms of the tourists, yeah, a lot of that stuff that they would drop, and making the mark and all that, they cannot do that in St. Louis Cemetery anymore. And so some of
Right.
that energy is definitely being transferred to that property.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
And it's
once
a bit of a
again,
politically, hold on now, it's a bit of a politically charged topic. I do have some familiarity with the owners. I might even say some of you, on the panel may very well be in close proximity to some of the owners and just do not know it. So I'm going to actually reach out to the sister who owns the house that got burnt down. She's also a tour guide and has a tour company in the French Quarter, and she might be, willing to talk about it, on air. And then another popular figure in New Orleans tourist, Voodoo,
Mhm.
lives next door to the property that caught fire. I mean, she's also in the tour business as well, so they might be willing to, I don't know, come on and talk about it and be open to those sorts of questions. I'm certainly going to offer it to them.
That would be great.
that sounds like a good idea. It's interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
The timing is the thing. From Nottingham, Sinners, the Marilla, the timing. It's all within this time frame. So there's
Now
definitely
listen,
something there.
I will offer you this.
Hey y'all, Cajun Queen Tours here, and yeah, I want to address some of the hateful comments on social media. Yeah, we know this is just the site of where Marie Laveau once lived, and this is the homestead. So it is called the Marie Laveau house. Her spirit is in there, so is Glapion and one of the children that died here. We were we had a scheduled ghost hunt, and some reader came in and said, hey, wait a minute, because they are upset too about this fire. So from the front, it does not look like there was a fire, right? But if you look closely, look at the black that is all over the curtains, all over the walls, inside. You may not be able to see it like this, but here, I'll show you more. These are all the offerings. Bloody Mary's side did not have one iota of damage, barely a smell. So I'm so happy for that. Obviously, her crazy dolls protected it. And let's go on inside. So once again, you see it all over my door already on the inside. This is all dirt from us coming and going. You can see my hands. I can't even get them clean. We reek of smoke. So again, this isn't even where the fire was. This is the smoke and water damage. Not water in here. Maybe it came through the attic because you can see that right there. But yeah, this is how it looks in the room that was minimally damaged.
Right there.
Oh, wait, is zero on? Go back, put it down. Put it down. Huh? Look. It's
She was reaching to you.
Yes.
And this head in corner.
Yes.
Wow, my body temperature gets super high.
Yeah.
Thank you. We can.
Oh yeah. That's what she was doing with your arm. Oh my gosh.
I've got shoes in my legs.
Two.
I've got shoes in my legs right now.
Look.
Yeah. The floor just got nice and cool.
Sitting right here, right in front of us.
Thank you. We can see. We totally understand that you want to be in the spiritual realm.
We're so happy you're showing yourself to us. Well, you know what? Behind you.
The people behind us.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so
Wow.
we have questions. We certainly have questions. And I'm going to make an offer to both Cajun Queen Toys and Bloody Mary to come on board and share with us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Was that looked like that was some type of poltergeist movement in that cell phone. I couldn't make it all out, but that's what it seemed like with the flickering.
That seems to be what they were suggesting. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure what app or tool that was, that they were utilizing, but that does seem to be what they were suggesting.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was looking at some kind of artifact, but with the naked eye, you couldn't see it. But when you look through the phone camera, you could see the energy emanating from the artifact
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and just the artifact.
Yes.
Because someone give the spirit a compliment, said, "Thanks for showing up, showing us this."
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Thanks for
unless you
showing yourself.
So yes.
Yes.
but unless you had your phone on, you wouldn't have even knew she was showing herself unless you felt it physically, which is often the case.
Mm-hmm.
Which is often the case for some people that really can pick up on stuff like that. Me, myself, I would never go around there or inside of that house. I never would go in there. You couldn't make me go in there. Because I feel too many energies and I feel like that house would have a lot of energies. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people over the years lived in there.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
I'll go with you, Tony.
Yeah, me too.
No. I don't care who going. I'm not Tony, not going. No, sir. Nope. Not at all. Well, y'all, our time has really come to end now. But we have a lot to talk about tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and see if the Divine Prince can make contact with the people that he know regarding that. And I'm going to be watching all the news outlets to see if I see anything unusual
Mm-hmm.
going on with stuff that have something to do. It seems like with revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said Trump has went on a tyrant to do away with Black and brown history and
Yeah.
look like the ancestors coming back with an eye for an eye.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sure.
You know, so, but I want to wish everybody a good night and see y'all here tomorrow night. I'm going to turn it over to my better half, the Divine Prince, to close
And
us out.
I'm going to invite you once again to visit our website at www.voodooday.org, www.voodooday.org for more information and coming updates about our third annual National New Orleans Voodoo Day, soon to be International New Orleans Voodoo Day. And we look forward to being present with you again on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, remembering that all is truly and indeed a blessing. You can just see beyond the veils, and no matter what you do, respect the voodoo. Odabo.
Ashe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Well,
AYIBOBO.
Mhm.